Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt your legs tremble just a little? Have you noticed that carrying groceries feels heavier than it used to, even though you're still walking every day, eating your fruit, and trying to stay fit? You're not alone. And no, it's not just old age. As a doctor who has treated thousands of patients over the past 50 years, I've seen the same look in their eyes. That quiet frustration, that silent question, why am I getting weaker even though I'm doing everything right? Here's what no one told you. Some of the very fruits you were told were healthy may now be slowly robbing your muscle strength, draining your energy, and quietly accelerating sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that takes away your balance, your independence, and in time, your freedom. And worst of all, you might be eating these fruits every single morning. If you're over 60, your body no longer handles food like it did at 30. What used to help you build strength may now be silently tearing it down. So today, we're going to talk about 3 fruits you must avoid, and 3 fruits that actually rebuild muscle and help you stay strong, energized, and independent. If you've felt any of these symptoms, comment number 1. If not, comment number 0. I want to know where you are. Let's begin. Number 1, banana, the healthy snack that turns against you after 60. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever peeled a banana after your morning walk, thinking you were doing your body a favor? You probably heard it for years. Bananas are good for your heart. Bananas help with cramps. Bananas are packed with potassium. And for most of your life, that was true. But here's the hard truth I've had to tell hundreds of patients in my clinic. After the age of 60, your body does not react to food the same way it used to. What used to fuel your strength might now be draining it away, especially something as innocent looking as a banana. See, a medium banana contains over 14 grams of sugar and more than 25 grams of carbohydrates. That's about the same amount of sugar as drinking 3 teaspoons of soda syrup. Now that may not sound like much, but when you're older and your insulin sensitivity declines, your cells cannot process sugar as efficiently. What happens next? A banana causes a rapid blood sugar spike. Then comes the crash. And that cycle puts strain on your blood vessels, reduces oxygen flow to your muscle tissue, and slowly triggers inflammation that weakens your legs and arms. You may feel it as fatigue after grocery shopping. You may notice your legs getting heavy when you stand. You may feel just a little more off balance than usual. But you probably chalked it up to aging. I'm here to tell you, that's not just age. That's metabolic stress. And bananas are silently feeding that stress every time you eat one on an empty stomach. Worse yet, many seniors with borderline or undiagnosed insulin resistance are especially vulnerable. Let me give you a real example. One of my patients, her name is named Diane, 67 years old, walks every day, eats fruit, no processed snacks, came to me frustrated that despite doing everything right, she was feeling weaker and having more leg cramps. Her breakfast, 1 banana, every single morning, no protein, no fat, just a banana. We ran her labs, blood sugar spikes, elevated inflammatory markers, early signs of sarcopenia. I asked her to swap that banana for a protein shake with blueberries and a few walnuts. 2 weeks later, her afternoon crashes were gone. 4 weeks later, she reported stronger balance getting up from chairs. And by 2 months, she was walking longer with less fatigue. That is how quickly things can turn when you stop giving your body the wrong kind of fuel. Now let's talk about another problem bananas bring: water retention. Bananas can promote subtle swelling in the legs for seniors with heart or kidney concerns. If you notice tightness in your ankles, aching calves after a short walk, or a slight puffiness around your socks, it may not be your blood pressure meds. It could be that morning banana. Remember, your body after 60 is like a classic car. It still runs beautifully, but it needs a different kind of care, a more refined fuel, more attention to detail. You wouldn't put cheap gas in a vintage Corvette, right? So ask yourself this: the next time you peel open that yellow skin, is this helping me feel stronger? Or is it part of what's quietly holding me back? And here's the real danger. Bananas don't come with a warning label. They're soft, familiar, sweet. They taste like health, but in the body of a senior, they can quietly become a trigger for muscle weakness, fatigue, and loss of independence. Do you recognize yourself in this story? Have you been relying on bananas to support your health? Comment yes or no. I want to hear from you. And keep watching, because if bananas are doing this much damage, wait until you see what happens with a fruit that's even more acidic and deceptive. We're not done yet. Let's move on to the next fruit you need to avoid, and the subtle ways it's attacking your joints and circulation. Are you still with me? Then let's keep going. Number 2, pineapple, the acidic saboteur. Now I want you to picture this. A sunny afternoon, you're sitting on your porch, maybe with a grandchild in your lap, and someone hands you a bowl of chilled pineapple chunks. It feels refreshing, light, tropical. You take a bite and think, this must be good for me. But what if I told you, that same sweet bowl could be quietly inflaming your knees, stiffening your joints, and draining the strength from your legs? I've seen it again and again with my patients. Pineapple carries a dangerous illusion, a fruit that feels like health but can do real damage inside an aging body. Let's break it down. Pineapple contains an enzyme called bromelain. You've probably heard it's anti-inflammatory, right? And in a young, healthy gut, it might be. But in older adults with slower digestion, more sensitive tissues, and often a stack of medications, bromelain can become an irritant. It doesn't just pass through quietly. In many of my patients, it aggravates the digestive lining, disrupts fluid balance, and even causes reactions with blood pressure meds or blood thinners. And that's just the beginning. Pineapple is loaded with natural sugars and acids. That tart flavor, it comes from citric acid and malic acid, both of which can become problematic as you age. When your kidneys slow down, and that happens for most adults over 60, your body takes longer to process those acids. Instead of passing them quickly, they linger. They cause inflammation. They irritate the tissues around your knees, ankles, and hips. They tighten the very muscles you're trying to keep loose and flexible. And here's the most dangerous part. You don't feel it right away. You might eat pineapple once and feel fine, but then you start eating it twice a week. A little bowl with lunch, a slice after dinner, and slowly the damage begins to add up. Your knees feel tighter when you get up in the morning. Your balance becomes just a little shakier. You don't recover as quickly from gardening, walking, or climbing stairs. You think, maybe I'm just getting older. But what if it's the pineapple? Let me tell you about a man named Carl, 72, retired firefighter, tough guy, still active. But over the last year, he started feeling stiffness in his lower back and ankles. He came to see me and said, "Doc, I feel like I'm rusting." We went through everything, diet, meds, movement, and guess what? Carl had replaced his afternoon cookies with fresh cut pineapple, thinking it was a healthier choice. It was, for his heart, but not for his joints. We cut it out, added berries, a touch of protein, and some hydration guidance. 3 weeks later, he called and said, "I don't creak when I get out of bed anymore." Was it all the pineapple's fault? Of course not. But was it quietly making things worse? Absolutely. So here's my question for you. Have you been trusting a fruit that once worked for you, but now might be working against you? Do you feel more stiffness in your knees, more tightness in your legs than before? Let me know. Type the word pineapple in the comments if it's something you eat weekly. Remember, at this stage of life, not all healthy foods are healthy for you anymore. And sometimes the brightest, juiciest fruits are the most deceptive. Now, if pineapple can do all this damage, just imagine what happens when you snack on a fruit that's not only sweet, but also easy to overeat by the handful all day long. You know the one I'm talking about. Let's move on to the third fruit that's quietly weakening your muscles. And it might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Number 3, grapes, the sweet seeds of decline. Grapes look innocent, don't they? They're tiny, they're pretty. They feel like the perfect snack, especially when you're trying to avoid cookies or candy. And for decades, grapes have been marketed as a guilt-free treat. But I'm here to tell you, as a doctor who has spent 50 years treating muscle loss in older adults, grapes can be a silent thief. Not because of how they taste, but because of how your body processes them after 60. Here's the truth most people don't hear. Grapes are packed with fructose, a natural fruit sugar that is processed by your liver. And that's where the danger begins. In small amounts, fructose is fine, but grapes are dangerously easy to overeat. You don't stop at 5. You don't stop at 10. Before you even notice, you've eaten a cup or more, easily over 20 grams of sugar in just a few minutes. That's like drinking half a can of soda, but without the warning label. And when your liver gets flooded with fructose, especially in an older body, it starts converting that sugar into fat and uric acid. Uric acid builds up in your joints. It settles in your knees, your toes, your ankles, and suddenly you feel stiff. You wake up with tight calves. You feel a deep ache in your heels or your lower legs. You get up from bed and wonder, why do my feet feel heavy? You never think to blame the grapes, but I've seen it over and over. One of my patients, Lillian, age 74, healthy, independent, sharp as a tack, came to me with swollen ankles and new joint pain in her knees. She didn't eat junk food. She didn't touch candy. But every evening after dinner, she'd snack on a big bowl of red grapes. It felt clean, natural, light. But inside her body, that fructose was slowly triggering low-grade inflammation day after day. We cut it down, swapped it with a small portion of blueberries in a spoonful of almond butter. Within 2 weeks, she noticed a difference. By week 4, she told me, I feel like my legs are mine again. And that's the message I want you to hear. It's not about giving up sweetness. It's about choosing the kind of sweetness that heals, not harms. Because the damage grapes cause is quiet. It doesn't hit you all at once. It sneaks in, silently. That's how inflammation works. And when you already have arthritis, poor circulation, or early signs of muscle loss, grapes can pour gasoline on that fire. So let me ask you right now, do you eat grapes regularly? Do you snack on them while watching TV? Have you noticed new aches in your knees or feet but couldn't figure out why? Tell me in the comments. Type the word grapes if this hits close to home. And remember, the most dangerous foods are the ones you don't question because they've always seemed healthy, but your body has changed, and it's time your choices changed with it. Now that we've uncovered the 3 fruits that can quietly damage your muscles and joints, let's shift gears. Because this story is not all about what to avoid. There is hope. Some fruits don't just avoid harm, they help you heal. They fight inflammation. They restore circulation. They protect your muscles from further decline. And they taste good too. Let's start with the first one, a quiet powerhouse that most people overlook. You're going to want to hear this. Number 4, blueberries, the gentle healers of aging muscles. Sometimes the smallest fruits carry the biggest power. If bananas, pineapples, and grapes quietly steal your strength, then blueberries quietly give it back. They don't make loud promises. They don't grab your attention with tropical colors or sugar-loaded sweetness. But inside every dark blue skin lies something extraordinary. The power to restore. Blueberries are one of the few fruits I recommend to nearly every patient over 60 who comes to me with signs of muscle loss or weakness. Why? Because they do something that sugary fruits never can. They protect your muscle fibers from the inside out. You see, blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, a class of antioxidants that directly fight oxidative stress. Now, what does that mean in plain English? It means they protect your tissues, your blood vessels, your nerves, your muscle cells, from the kind of microscopic damage that slowly adds up with age. Every day you're exposed to this damage, through sugar, through inflammation, through stress and pollution. And your muscles, especially in your legs, are some of the first places to suffer. That's why sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss, is often first noticed when people start having trouble walking longer distances or getting out of a chair without pushing off their thighs. But with blueberries, you're giving your muscles the ammunition they need to repair and rebuild. Let me give you an example. I had a patient named George, 68, retired postal worker. Used to walk 10 miles a day in his younger years. Now he struggled to make it 2 blocks without stopping. He was eating relatively well, but still eating bananas, grapes, even fruit juice in the mornings. We made one change. We replaced his fruit juice with a bowl of oatmeal, a handful of fresh blueberries, and a few almonds. 3 weeks later, he told me, "Doc, I feel like I've got bounce in my step again." That's not magic, that's science. Studies from Tufts University have shown that regular blueberry intake improves vascular flexibility, meaning your small blood vessels can carry oxygen and nutrients to your muscles more efficiently. That leads to less fatigue, better balance, faster recovery after movement. And here's the best part. Blueberries are low in sugar compared to other fruits, about 7 grams of sugar per half cup, and it's natural sugar paired with fiber. That means no dangerous spikes and crashes, no inflammation roller coaster, just steady, healing nourishment. So instead of a banana or a bowl of grapes, imagine this. You sit down for breakfast. You have 1/2 cup of blueberries with cottage cheese or oatmeal. No crash, no swelling, no joint ache later in the day. Just a calm, steady energy and a body that says, thank you. If you've never tried replacing your morning fruit with blueberries, this is your sign. Try it for 7 days. Watch how your legs feel after walking. Watch how your knees respond to a flight of stairs. Watch how your body thanks you in strength, in balance, and in freedom. Let me ask you right now, when was the last time you gave your muscles something that actually helped them heal? Are blueberries already part of your routine? Type the word blue in the comments if you're ready to make them your daily habit. Because if healing can begin with something this small and simple, why wait? Now, blueberries may be the heroes of healing, but they're not the only ones. Up next, I want to show you a fuzzy little fruit most people forget. One that holds the key to better digestion, stronger joints, and restored muscle support. Let's keep going. Number 5, kiwi, the hidden regenerator. It's easy to overlook the kiwi. It doesn't sit in fruit bowls like apples. It's not as flashy as berries. And most people don't even know what to do with its fuzzy skin. But inside, kiwi is one of the most powerful healing fruits for older muscles. And almost no one talks about it. Here's why. First, kiwi is loaded with vitamin C, more than oranges, but without the sharp acidity that can bother older joints or upset digestion. Vitamin C is essential for producing collagen, the protein that holds your muscles, tendons, and joints together. Without it, the glue that keeps your structure strong starts to weaken. But that's not all. Kiwi also contains a natural enzyme called actinidin. This helps your body break down protein more efficiently, which is critical after 60, when digestion slows and muscles don't absorb nutrients like they used to. I've seen it firsthand. One of my patients, Linda, age 70, was eating plenty of protein. Eggs, fish, even shakes. But her legs were still weak. Her digestion was sluggish, and she felt bloated all the time. We added just 1 kiwi a day after breakfast. In 2 weeks, her digestion improved. By 1 month, her energy had picked up. She said, "For the first time in years, I feel like my food is helping me." Kiwi is also low in sugar, so it won't cause blood sugar spikes. It gives you clean energy, and it's gentle, healing without irritating. So next time you're at the store, skip the sugary fruits. Grab 3 or 4 kiwis for the week. It might be the smallest decision that makes the biggest difference in how you move, feel, and heal. Let me ask you, have you ever tried eating kiwi regularly? Or did you write it off as just another tart little fruit? Comment the word kiwi if you're willing to give this healing fruit a chance. Because now it's time to reveal the final fruit. One that doesn't taste sweet, but protects your muscles in ways no other fruit can. You won't want to miss this. Number 6, avocado, the muscle protector. Avocados don't look like fruit. They're not sweet. They're not juicy. And yet they might be the most powerful fruit for muscle protection after 60. Why? Because while sugary fruits spike and crash your energy, avocado gives you steady, healing fuel. It's rich in healthy fats, especially monounsaturated fats, that support muscle repair, reduce inflammation, and help you feel full without bloating. Here's something most seniors don't realize. After 60, your body needs more fat, not less, as long as it's the right kind. Fat is what keeps your cells strong. Fat is what helps you absorb vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium, all essential for strong bones and muscles. Speaking of magnesium, 1 avocado gives you about 15% of your daily need, and magnesium is key for muscle contraction, preventing cramps, and improving recovery. Potassium, even more than bananas, but without the sugar. This is the kind of nutrition that doesn't just avoid damage. It actively builds you back up. Let me tell you about Robert, one of my patients. He was 70, diabetic, and tired all the time. We cut out morning toast and jelly, replaced it with half an avocado, a boiled egg, and black coffee. 3 weeks later, he was walking longer. His blood sugar stabilized. And he said, "For the first time in years, I feel solid." That's what avocado does. No crash, no sugar, just slow, strong fuel for a body that deserves support. And it's so easy. Spread it on toast, spoon it straight from the shell, mash it with lemon and salt. Done. So let me ask you, do you eat avocado? Have you thought it was too fatty or just not for you? Type avocado in the comments if you're ready to give it a second look. Because food doesn't just feed your body, it fuels your freedom. Now that you've learned the 3 fruits to avoid and the 3 to embrace, it's time for something deeper. Let's talk about why your muscles weaken so fast after 60, even when you're eating well, and what you can do starting tomorrow to stop it. Number 7, why your muscles weaken so fast. After 60, the truth. No one told you. You're eating well, you're walking every day, but your muscles still feel weak, tired, unstable. Why? Because after 60, your body enters what doctors call a catabolic state, a silent process where your body breaks down muscle faster than it builds it. This isn't because you're doing something wrong. It's because aging changes everything. Your digestion slows, your cells stop absorbing protein efficiently, your blood vessels get narrower, limiting oxygen delivery to muscle tissue. And worst of all, you don't feel the damage until it's already happened. You stand up and feel dizzy. You need both hands to push off the couch. You walk half a mile and feel like you ran 5. That's not just getting old, that's muscle breakdown, sarcopenia, and it's happening sooner and faster than most people realize. The National Institute on Aging reports that adults over 60 can lose up to 15% of their muscle mass each decade if nothing is done. And here's the part no one tells you. Once you lose muscle, it's harder to get it back. But it's not impossible. I've seen patients in their 70s and 80s reverse this process with small, specific changes. You just need to know what to do and when. Let me ask you, do your legs feel weaker than they did last year? Do you get winded more easily than before? Comment yes or no. I want to know where you're at, because now I'm going to show you how to start rebuilding muscle, starting with your very first meal of the day. Let's move on. Number 8, the real strategy to reverse muscle loss, starting with breakfast. If you want to stop muscle loss, don't start with pills or workouts. Start with what you put on your plate, especially in the morning. Most seniors skip protein at breakfast. They grab toast, cereal, fruit juice, and wonder why they crash by noon. The truth is, your muscles are starving when you wake up. And if you feed them sugar instead of strength, you set yourself up for fatigue, cramps, and weakness all day long. What your muscles really need is protein and minerals. Early. Here's a simple plan I give my patients. 1 boiled egg, half an avocado, 1/2 cup of blueberries, a glass of warm water. That's it. Fast to make, easy to chew, powerful for muscle recovery. Why does this work? The protein rebuilds your muscle fibers. The healthy fat gives steady energy. The berries reduce inflammation. And the warm water supports digestion and blood flow. Let me be clear, you don't need a giant breakfast. You need the right one. Start your day like this for just 7 days, and you may feel stronger before the week is over. Less shakiness, more stamina, better balance. So what did you have for breakfast today? Be honest. Comment below and let me know, because the next part is about your future strength and why it's not gone. It's just waiting for the right fuel to come back. Let's move on. Number 9, your muscles are not gone. They're waiting to be rebuilt. If you've been feeling like your strength is slipping away, if getting out of bed feels harder than it used to, if your legs shake, your arms tire, and your steps feel unsure, let me tell you something I've told every patient who's ever sat in front of me with those same worries. Your muscles are not gone. They're waiting for you, waiting to be rebuilt. Muscle doesn't vanish overnight. It breaks down slowly from years of quiet stress, sugar crashes, skipped protein, and missed movement. But here's the good news. Rebuilding starts the same way. Quietly, one choice at a time. A smarter breakfast, a 5-minute walk after lunch, one kiwi instead of a sweet snack. You don't need to lift weights or run marathons. You just need to stop surrendering and start feeding the body you still have, because it still works. I've seen 85-year-olds regain balance. I've seen patients walk without canes after being told they'd never do it again. Not because of magic, but because they stopped believing they were too old. So ask yourself right now, do you still believe in your body because it still believes in you? If you're ready to make one change, just one, and comment "I'm ready" below, because the next few days, the next few choices can change everything. Let's finish strong. If you've made it this far, it tells me one thing loud and clear. You haven't given up on your strength. You haven't given up on walking with confidence, on getting up without hesitation, on living with power, not fear. And that matters, because getting older doesn't mean getting weaker. It just means your body needs something different now. Better fuel, better habits, and better care. And you're learning how to give it that. So take a deep breath. You've already started. You now know which fruits to avoid. You've met the ones that heal. You've seen how a simple breakfast can change everything. And most of all, you've remembered that your muscles are not gone. They are waiting for your support. But food is just one part of the story. To stay strong, you also need the right vitamins, the kind that protect your muscles, bones, heart, and mind after 60. And most seniors are missing at least 2 of them. That's why I want you to watch this next video. Doctors recommend these 5 vitamins after 60. I'll walk you through what to take, what to avoid, and how to feel the difference within weeks. You deserve that. So tell me in the comments, what's one small change you'll make starting today? Let's keep moving forward together. Because your strongest chapter, it doesn't end here, it starts now.